Hello there, MeduSirena, once again with you, Tiki Oasis TV, and to my left we have a very special guest, CJ Cook, a historian, very interested in South Pacific history, and you also are a collector of paintings, and you've just recently had a book out and a symposium. We'd really love to hear a little bit more about that.
Well, thank you for having me and allowing me to explain a little bit more about Tyree, which was the book that I wrote, Tyree, Artists of the South Pacific. So I've studied the arts of the South Pacific for a long time. I love Hawaii and Tahiti and the Polynesian Islands, and got interested in their culture and got interested in the art of the area, and then fell in love with this man and his art about 10 years ago when I bought my first painting.
How did you encounter the first painting?
Well, the first painting I saw in Honolulu at a sale there, and bought this young lady here, and thought it was exquisite. She's from Palau, and Tyree painted her in the 60s, and you could see the beauty of the black velvet, I think, up close when you see it. And when you go on the internet, there wasn't much available. There was short paragraphs about Tyree, and they didn't know much about him. They said he was a student of Latag, another famous black velvet painter, but he really wasn't, as it turns out. He had done it on his own years later, after Latag was gone. And he was very prolific. He started painting oils on board, some on canvas, and in the 60s, with the culture of Tiki, he moved to black velvets because he wanted to get more depth in the painting. And you can see her feathers are almost real-like. They look like they're jumping off the velvet in this case. But he used a special technique that wasn't done by many artists, which was very expensive black velvet from France, and then very light dilute painting in order to get the depth of the nap, so that the paint would stick and would have different colors as it brought out. It wouldn't come off after years. These are over 50 years old, and they look as good as they did the day they were painted. And so that's how I got into it. She started the problem.
That's remarkable. Yeah, it's really fantastic.
I got into investigating who he was, and met his family. Started with his daughter, and she introduced me to his wife. Tyree died in 1979, but his wife was still alive. She was 92 at that time, and all the kids, he had 7 children, and they were all my age, so I got to know them and learn about the man, and they invited me into their home to see their art and to see his documents from his history, and I became acquainted with him, and now finished up with a book about the man.
That's really tremendous. So you pretty much opened this entire chest of information and wonders that really nobody knew about for a period of time, or very few people knew about, and you're able to enlighten a lot of folks to an artist that otherwise may have just kind of floated by the wayside, but now really with this book it sounds remarkable. I see you have another painting here.
Yes.
She is absolutely beautiful, and what's the story behind her?
Well, she was painted in 1970. Her name is Lot. It's on the back. Tyree would sign it down here on the bottom. The signature, it says Tyree. It looks like Tyraa, but it's EE. And on the back, it'll tell who his model is, at least in the velvets, and what year he painted it, and sometimes a little more detail about it. Yeah, she's very, very striking. They're all Polynesian ladies, men. Portraits, sometimes full nudes, and he was very prolific. He painted more velvets than anybody from that era, and he was into, especially the California tiki restaurants and bars. They were very, very, very common to be there. Some in Hawaii, because he was in Hawaii a lot during his career. Guam, Samoa. He traveled a lot. He went to Tahiti, Taiwan, Japan. And it would photograph some of the artists, some he'd bring into his studio and paint, which was always in his home, so his wife could watch him.
He's a smart man, very cautious. We have one more as well. Oh my gosh!
Her hair is black, and then he's added the color to it. So it's the opposite of where you're adding color to the white of a canvas.
So your book was available here at Tiki Oasis?
It was. I sold out right here, but
but you could get them on Amazon?
Yeah, Amazon and eBay has books for sale, and my website, cjcookauthor.com.
There you go. Excellent. Thank you so much. And
You're
thank
welcome.
you for the symposium and bringing these beautiful paintings and being a part of TIKI Oasis yet again.
Well, thank you. It's great, and I'm glad the world will know a little bit more about Ralph Burke Tyree.